Malaysia sebagai tubuh manis ni pun tabar di hujung. The famous quote from our one and only Temenggung JUGAH. It means Malaysia should not be like the sugar cane, sweet at the head and getting less and less sweet at the end. He was known as the man who went on airplane to landed barefooted. Some people might find it funny, but as funny as it sounds, this man is the reason Malaysia was formed. Let's get to know him a little bit before we go to the serious part. He was very close to his people, up to the point that people call him Apai, meaning father. This is to show how affectionate he was with them. He was so leisure in his everyday life and walks around the town in shorts and singlet. He always made people feel at ease and known as someone who was cheerful and loved friends. One interesting prank that he did was during a rundown or meeting at the longhouse. He took a break at 2 a.m. and stripped down to shorts and descended below the longhouse with some boys and girls pretending to be the enemy. He lit some kerosene, soaked, dry thatch, then started running back and forth underneath the longhouse to scare the women in the house. The woman was terrified and poured water to put off the fire. He was totally drenched and they were having so much fun. Then he climbed back up, bathed, and continued with his meeting as if nothing happens. He was respected, even he was illiterate in terms of Western education. He signed documents using his thumbprints. As someone with power back then, he was really natural. He was not blinded by all power he had. Proof was in 1951 when Japanese came and made him the Sanji, means chief. He did not ask for anything ridiculous, just some things enough to keep himself and his people safe. Now, let us dive into all the things that he did for our nations. In 1928, he was made as a penghulu. Then, in 1952, he attended the State Council and elevated to Temenggung in 1955 and took up leadership of the party Pusaka Anak Sarawak. Then, in 1953, he was invited to London to represent his people at the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. In 1963, he traveled back to London to sign the Malaysia Agreement. And the last month, 1964, he was appointed as the Federal Minister of Sarawak Affairs, the only person to have ever filled the post. This was actually just tidbits of his contribution. There is many more that grant him the nickname Bridge of Malaysia. If it is not because of him, there will be no Malaysia now. He died in 1981 after fighting with cancer and remains in our hearts, especially here in Sarawak, forever. And therefore, friends, let's appreciate his deeds by remembering him always, because remembering those who sacrificed for our nation only take a minute, but they fought bravely for all their life to ensure our eternal freedom. That's all from me. I am NURUL RAHMAN. Till next time, goodbye.